Welcome back, Gumball fans! Have you ever watched an episode of the Amazing World of Gumball and thought, what is the deal with Nicole Watterson? Like, how did this blue cat mom get to be so intense, so driven, so tough, and still have a heart of gold under all that stress? Well, there's a backstory to it. And today, we're diving deep. That's right, breaking down every clue, every flashback, and every moment that sheds light on Nicole Watterson's mysterious past. Because her story isn't just filler. It's an emotional roller coaster filled with high expectations, painful choices, personal victories, and yes, a bit of wild teenage rebellion. Let's go all the way back to where it started.
I taped a wrestling match over our wedding video?
Go on without me! I'm out of control!
After the goofy vibes of Season 1, the show started getting a lot deeper, exploring the characters' developments and relationships in a more real way. One of the best examples of this shift was the focus on the parents. From the first season onwards, we got to see pretty much the full story of Nicole and Richard's lives and how they raised Gumball into the kid he is today. Honestly, their journey is one of the reasons that makes them one of the most lovable cartoon couples out there. Then, as seasons 5 and 6 approached, things got even more interesting when we finally met two more characters who played a huge role in Nicole's past and helped explain a lot about why she is the way she is. But before that, why did Nicole even choose Richard in the first place? I mean, look at him. He doesn't hesitate to eat cake in the shower. It feels like Nicole has 4 kids whenever Richard's around. We find the reason for Nicole's decision in the episode The Choices. During one especially rough dinner, the whole kitchen was basically yelling for food and Richard wasn't exactly helping. That's when Nicole finally snapped. She wondered how her life got so messy and chaotic. Then she looked at Richard, the guy responsible for most of it, and flashed back to the moment they first met. It all started when she had to run out of her parents' car to a karate tournament. Everyone around her wanted something. Her parents only cared about winning, and her mom didn't even say "I love you" back to her. Now we know that she gets her temper from her dad, and her intense drive to succeed from her overly critical mom. Nicole's mom and dad were strict, like tiger parents level of strictness. Her mother, in particular, had super high expectations. Success wasn't an option. It was expected that Nicole just had to be the best at everything. School, sports, behavior, and life in general. And if she slipped up, you can bet she heard about it. We can even see in episodes like The Fury that Nicole and Yuki were childhood friends who trained together in martial arts under the strict and demanding instruction of Yuki's father, who, funnily enough, looks just like Master Roshi from Dragon Ball. For Nicole, she had to be the best in martial arts as well because her parents demanded it. We get an example of this in the same episode where Nicole and her best friend Yuki make it to the final round of a martial arts tournament, and she didn't hesitate to absolutely humiliate Yuki to the point where she left the country, defeated and hurt, cutting ties with Nicole entirely. Every person she met either wanted a romance, wanted her to join their cause, or just straight up objectified her. But then she met Richard. He didn't expect her to change or do anything for him. Instead, he made her laugh, made her think about her life, things nobody had done for her before. He even questioned her why she was doing what she was doing if she didn't even want to do it. Richard was the first person who really made Nicole feel more like herself again. Even though her parents disapproved of him, she still chose to be with him and start a new life. Over time, they realized they actually made a pretty good team. Alright, so Nicole and Richard eventually got married. And of course, her parents aren't there for her on one of her happiest days. Now, let's be honest, Richard isn't exactly a go-getter. He's basically a man-child with the attention span of a goldfish and the appetite of a walrus. So naturally, Nicole takes on the role of breadwinner.
Things are not meant to be. Dogs shouldn't get on with cats, men shouldn't have ponytails, and your father is not meant to have a job! What are we gonna do? We have to stop him.
She works at the Rainbow Factory, a job that looks like a soul-sucking nightmare. Fast forward a few years and they have 3 kids. One's a hyper-intelligent toddler, one's a fish with legs, and one is, well, Gumball. Nicole started out as a pretty strict parent, definitely stricter than Richard. But as the show goes on, she never really forces her kids into anything they don't want to do. She doesn't try to have control over their future or push them toward things that don't feel right to them. She just focuses on keeping them safe, healthy, and alive. She cooks, cleans, works full-time, and still finds time to fight a robot invasion or arm wrestle a T-Rex if she needs to. And her kids? They love her. even when they drive her crazy. Richard, on the other hand, encourages their creativity and freedom. Together, the two of them balance each other out and create a strong, supportive dynamic that helps raise some of the happiest kids around. We jump straight into a wild supermarket brawl, with the kids sneakily tossing candy and snacks into the cart while Nicole fights them off like a pro, pulling off some serious martial arts moves. At first, it just feels like a goofy gumball moment, but it's actually a clever way to reintroduce Nicole. Yeah, we already know that she's tough and knows how to throw hands, but right after the drama, she's back to being a typical mom, trying to swap out junk food for something healthier and cheaper. That moment where she's sniffing out bargains, total mom move. Then she even mentions how her family had this uncanny skill for saving money. It really shows Nicole as the one who keeps the family grounded. Just before we meet the people who raised her and understand why she's wired that way, Daniel and Mary, Nicole's parents, raised her on some scary level of parenting. This is the first time we actually see them in person. Previously, we just got a glimpse of them in a flashback from Season 5, where young Nicole was rushing to her karate class. As we previously discussed, her parents tried to control every aspect of her life like they were playing a game. If Nicole didn't do what they desired, they would straight up delete the character, so as soon as she turned 18 and got the chance, she left it all behind and started over with Richard. Now, Nicole's seeing them again face to face for the first time in 20 years, and for some reason, the kids think it's a great idea to invite them for dinner. But Nicole is clearly nervous. On the drive back home, her anxiety bubbles up and she starts second-guessing her whole life. She finds herself calming down, thinking Richard is having a heartfelt moment with her when in reality, he's just busy flirting with a can of beef. Nicole and her parents sit down and talk. So they come back home and it immediately turns painfully awkward. Sensing the tension, Gumball tries to lighten the mood with a joke. I like my coffee the way I like jokes about how I like my coffee. I don't. Yeah, with a joke like that, no wonder they start fighting like crazy. That flop joke opens the floodgates. Nicole and her parents unleash all their stored frustration. Plates start flying, voices are raised, and it escalates into a full-on insulting match. Richard in this situation is surprisingly perceptive and tells the kids they're arguing not because one of them is necessarily right or wrong, but because neither side has moved on. And that's just what it is. Instead of trying to fix anything, they're stuck fighting about old wounds. It's so chaotic that even Richard can see how pointless it all is. Nicole and her parents are just caught up in a cycle of blame and too angry to step back. So Richard and the kids decide to step in and listen to both sides. From Nicole's perspective, it's no secret why she's furious. She's facing the very people who once made her feel unwanted and are now barging back in, acting like they know what's best, trying to throw all her life's hard work into the trash in a split second, just because they think she could do better. As the argument heats up, even Richard is no longer safe. Nicole goes on a rant about how her parents don't really care about her happiness and are just obsessed with the idea of her ending up with someone rich. Finally, she breaks her silence and calls them out, saying that they never approved of Richard and never thought he was good enough for her. Of course, they deny it, but it all just goes downhill from there. After a while, we start seeing a series of flashbacks from different stages in Nicole's life, showing how this tension has been building for years. Then we're taken to her teen years, when she struggled with her temper and even stole the family car to sneak out and see Richard, which got her in serious trouble. The blame game continues as they dig up moral drama, including moments from the 20 years they weren't speaking. But what really led Nicole to explode all those years later? Well, no matter what Nicole did, it was never enough for her parents. They just kept piling on expectations and criticism. Eventually, they all reach a point where they've thrown all the weapons at each other they can remember. Even then, that bitterness is still there. It's clear that they're on the edge of falling right back into it again. That's when Gumball intervenes and pulls some emotional manipulation because, honestly, there's too much at stake not to try something drastic. He starts singing a song about the truth of the situation. As he sings along, the look Nicole shares with her mom as she walks out says everything. It shows that deep down, her mother really cares. In fact, she's the only one out of the two who openly says she loves Nicole. But the problem is with the way she expresses it. Her ideas of love and success are a little mixed up, and that has built a wall between them. Gumball gets surprisingly real, bringing up the reality that time doesn't wait around. He says it straight. Time doesn't wait for anyone, and none of them have unlimited time to fix things. As the weight of that message starts to hit Nicole and her parents, they begin to notice little pieces of their shared memories they'd ignored or forgotten in all the anger. And those precious moments faded away while they were too caught up in bitterness. The only real way out is to hold back and admit the mistakes before it's too late. And thankfully, they all come to realize this isn't how things between them should end. But wait a minute, who would have thought such wisdom would come from Gumball? This kid is pretty unpredictable. So yeah, Nicole's past is mysterious. It's a little messed up, it's real, and it's scattered across multiple episodes. But when you piece them all together, you get a person who may have started out as a stressed out, overachieving kid with extremely strict parents. But she grew up into one of the most iconic, complex, and inspiring moms in animation history. What do you think of Nicole's past? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you've reached this far, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon so you never miss out on any of our future updates.